Hi guys, today I thought I'll make one more video on how to, make notes online when you're reading current affairs articles. There's so many people who are like worried about current affairs. Obviously, it's very normal because of the vastness of the syllabus, and then there's no clear boundary, and the sources in online are like too many sources, so it's very confusing, right? So I thought I'll show you how I prepare uh, current affairs every day. Like it's a routine for me. Like every day I read news. I got used to that, right? I'll explain you how I read. I'll record the whole video, and just this will help you, I'm sure. So let the first step. Uh, I got to know that there are few things going on in the world. So if that issue is in news, and if I have to understand the issue, I have to read it, right? So first thing I got to know that there's something called virtual private network, VPC, virtual private network. Uh, this is virtual private network which is in news. It's there in news since last like 1 month, 2 months, and then even yesterday I think it's in news. So I selected news. I see first thing I am searching virtual private network in Google, and see I searched it, and then there's all images, news, all these columns. I'm choosing news. Now I know that it's in news, VPC, which is in news. So this is one article. So I'm opening that link. That is a newspaper called Economic Times. They mentioned that uncertain times for VPN services providers in India. That is 17 hours ago. So this is the recent news. And one more newspaper, new VPN rules service providers against cert in a directive to maintain log of users. So we can clearly see that there is something going on. Cert in this is an organization which gave some directives to maintain the logs of the users. So it's a bit of controversy. So here we got to know that VPN is in use, and this organization has issued some directives. So here, first thing we imagine that we don't know anything about this article. First question that you will get when you see this, what is VPN? That's first thing you'll have, right? So for that only you are searching VPN. So when you open the link of this newspaper, first I opened Economic Times, then I opened one more newspaper link called India.com here, and then one more newspaper, India Today. Apart from that, the Indian Express, which is the easiest and the best newspaper according to me, because I love this newspaper, the wording they use, and it's very easy, I feel. So I opened how many tabs? One for Indian Express, one for Economic Times, and then one for India Today, and one for India.com. So four links I opened. Apart from that, like we all know that Hindu newspaper is so important. So if there's any Hindu link in this, I'll choose that. Otherwise, I'll also search the Hindu here. And see, VPN providers in India mandated to collect customer data. This is one more link. So I opened how many links? One is for Hindu newspaper, one is for Indian Express, one is for Economic Times, India Today. There's so many newspapers. So same news is being covered in almost all the newspapers. But for civil services, which newspaper is more important? There's nothing like that. What is more important is understanding the topic. It doesn't matter which newspaper you read from. You need to understand the concepts here. VPN. First question that you will have is what is VPN? Now, when you open this Hindu newspaper, you just scroll this. Once you scroll this, you'll understand that okay, they mentioned some data. But did they explain it very well? No. So you go for the next link, explained column, why VPN providers believe new rules will be undermine users' privacy. Before understanding the issue, the first question that you had is what is VPN? Did they explain that anywhere? Here, see what is VPN and how do these networks function. So this column in Indian Express, there is a headline says what is a VPN and how does this network function, and from this we'll understand what VPN is all about. So we'll see what is virtual private network. Any and all devices connected to the internet are part of a large network of computers, servers, and other devices spread across the world. See, we all know that there's something called World Wide Web, which is basically an internet. In that internet, there's so many devices that are connected, like mobile phones, servers, clients, connect to the people who connect to the servers by using various devices like computers, mobile phones, tabs. There are different devices, even wearable devices like watches, and these are the devices. Every device will have something called IP address. That IP address is like a identity number that every device will have, which is provided by the internet service providers. Okay, and you can identify the device based on that unique address, which is called IP address, Internet Protocol address. It's also there are two types like IPv4, IPv6. Okay, uh, so when you get to know that every device have IP address, and if it is if you are in the internet, obviously you are interacting with some other device. When you're texting somebody else, you are communicating from your IP, your device which has some IP, to some other device which has IP. So there are two IPs for two devices, and these two networks, when they are in the internet, they're exposed to the external world. Like, hackers can easily get into the your network and they can hack it, because internet is open to everyone, right? So to stop that, what this VPN does is they mask the IP address, which means whenever you're communicating, whenever there's one company, when there's one organization, the organization will have n number of servers, they'll have n number of clients, they'll have n number of devices in that network. In that whole network called internet, it's like a subdivision, it's like a partition in the net, in the internet. So VPN is nothing but the virtual private network. It's a partition inside the internet. Okay, it's like if there's let's say there's a bill, there's apartments, and it has block A, block B, block C. They divided the apartments into different blocks. You can say like one block has many how, like, flats. That is, you can say it's a partition inside the network. And now you understand what VPN is. You read this tab. Once you understand that, you'll have one more question. Okay, now what is the issue? Why is this VPN is in use? Now you understood what VPN is about, right? Then the next thing that you will be going and check, you'll check like why they also mention, see, why is anonymity or privacy so important for VPN providers and user? Obviously, privacy is important, right? Whenever you're texting somebody else, if some other person comes and say if they get the data and if your privacy is lost, the chances are very high that you lose money, and obviously data is money. So privacy is important. This column is, it looks like it's important. So what I do here is I read this, what is VPN, I understood everything about VPN. This data, it looks like it's very useful, and this will help me in long term for my exam and for revising purpose. So I'll paste this in my notepad. Okay, now I have the data, what is VPN, I have the data regarding what is VPN, and everything regarding that VPN. Next, I'll try to read why privacy is important. I'll collect a couple of points, and then again I'll take that data and I'll copy that here. I'll copy that here like this. I'll try to copy that, and then again I'll go read. Now I understood the importance of privacy. I got to know what VPN is, and then who gave these directives? It's one organization called CERT in. So now one more question that I'll get is, what is this organization? Then I'll search this again. Okay, there's one organization called Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Now I'll go to the official website. Okay, and when you visit that official website, you'll have something called about column. See, there is about column here, and once you click that, see chart, mission, roles, what we do, they'll give everything, the details regarding that organization. Now see, after I entered into the website, they gave this cert in is operational since January 2004 constituted. So they gave information Indian cyber community protecting the machines and the functions of that organization. You'll also understand under which ministry this organization comes. See, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, which year, what is the functions of that organization. So everything you'll find it in the about column. So this is the official source. Chances are very high that UPSC will take statements from this and they'll just give it in the question paper. They'll take the functions, they'll give it in the question paper. So now you know what's CERT in Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, now you understood that. Now one more question that you will have is, now again what you do is you'll copy this data completely. Again you'll paste that in your notepad, like you read something called cert organization. See, I can copy that. Give me 1 second. See here, now you read this Indian Computer Emergency Team is an office within Ministry of this information I need, because later on I can revise it if I have this. So I'll copy that, I'll paste it here. So now I need subheading because later on it becomes easy for me to organized information is much more easier to recall, right? So I'll copy this. Now I have information regarding CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team. And then once I'm done with that, now I'll see what details does Certinia wants VPN security providers to keep in why. So now the issue, what directives did this certain give this organization gave? What are the directives they mentioned, and why many industrialists are opposing it? Some, setting objectives such as fighting cybercrime and invoking. So now you have to see what is the controversy here, why people are, why normal companies are going against VPN. Once you read the directives given by this organization, you will be in a good position. Like, see, now we only read this Indian Express newspaper, and you understood the issue. So that's fine. If you have not understood the issue, you'll go for one more link that is mentioned there. See, this is also explained column in India.com. Here, first thing, I need to understand what VPN is. See here, they also mentioned what is VPN and how does it function. You'll understand the issue here. You can take this information and you can copy it in your notepad. That is because later on you have to revise it. You don't have to go search it later. After 2 months, when you find the same news, chances are very high that you'll forget it. But when you have notes, you can recall it later on. So directives, you see, what does the new directive say? This is the important topic here, right? So I'll read this entirely under the new directions. You know, these are the directives they give. VPN providers are required to store validated customers' names, private physical addresses, email IDs, phone numbers, and the reasons they are using service along with. So they're collecting all the private information and the data regarding the numbers, email IDs, everything. And don't you think it's against the privacy? So we'll get to know the issue here completely. Why it's a controversy? Why some companies are going against it, some companies are opposing it, government is supporting it, why government is supporting, what is the public opinion on that, what is your opinion. You'll get all these things when you completely read this links. Like, these data is very very important. You can copy that. See, I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. Okay, now I have the data regarding VPN in my notepad. Now this is the way you have to take your notes. Even if you read like after 10 months or 1 year, you still have notes. So you don't have to worry about it. It won't take much time. You can do that. And this is one way. Or otherwise, one more thing you can do, which is like something that I do. It helps me a lot. I take this VPN data related to this. I use my email. I open that email, compose. See, I pressed compose here to send the email. I'll copy and paste the whole data here. See, I have everything. In subject, I'll mention the name of the topic. Here the topic is what is VPN, virtual private network, and how does it work. So this is the subject. I'll have the data. If I feel like okay, I need to cover it later on, you can just close this also. Nothing will happen. See, when you go to drafts, you'll have the same thing. Whenever the same news, if you find it again, you can just read that and copy paste that here. You can copy paste it again. You can keep updating it. One advantage with by using these drafts as a notes is, wherever you travel, you don't have to carry anything with you. If you write it in your notebook, you have to carry the notebook. If it is in your notepad, still it's very difficult to search it, and reading is little bit tough. But if it is in your draft, you can just open it. You see how many articles I have here. Close to 995 topics I have. State Finance Commission. I read somewhere about a State Finance Commission and I took notes for that. And recently, this peace class in news of World Trade Organization. I read about that. I took notes. I maintained this. I'll have these notes, and later on, I don't have to go search it in internet because I already have notes, and it's very easy for me to recall it. So this is the way you need to make it comfortable for you to revise. That's the whole point. Even if you read now, after trust me, after like 2 or 3 weeks, you'll completely forget the topic. But when you make notes online, it's very easy, and it's very important to revise. Otherwise, you are not even in the race if you are not revising. Make sure whatever I explained in this video, try to implement it. It will help you for sure. And if you have any doubts regarding this, you can text me or you can comment. Okay. Thank you so much.